Over 150,000 tons of canned sweet corn are produced every year. And in the US alone, people go through over 1 billion pounds of sweet corn in all forms. It's one of the top-selling canned vegetables on grocery shelves, right up there with green beans and peas. But have you ever stopped to think about how those golden kernels get from the field into that sealed metal can? The process is way more advanced and faster than you'd expect, and we'll uncover it all here at The Process World. So without further ado, let's get started.
Corn on the cob! Oh boy! Where's the cob?
Oh, corn on the cob flavor don't depend on the cob, Sprout.
Depends on the corn?
Yep, Niblets brand corn is special. It's even vacuum packed with very little water, so it stays more crisp and sweet like corn on the cob.
Canned sweet corn starts long before the factory line, with a seed that's carefully chosen for its tenderness, juiciness, and flavor. Farmers don't leave anything to chance. They select special sweet corn varieties that can hold up through harvesting and processing without losing their texture or sweetness. But before planting begins, the soil is tested, plowed, and balanced for nutrients. The Midwest, especially Iowa, is ideal for this crop, thanks to its warm climate, reliable rainfall, and rich soil. Planting kicks off in March or April, with seeds spaced in neat rows to allow room for air and sunlight. In just a few months, those seeds shoot up into 9-foot stalks carrying ears filled with perfectly aligned kernels. Then comes the most critical part, timing the harvest. Corn that's used for canning is picked during the milk stage, when the kernels are full, sweet, and just soft enough. This window doesn't last long, so farmers monitor the fields closely, checking the weather and crop conditions day by day. When it's time, massive harvesters able to process up to 140 tons a day spring into action. These machines cut the ears clean from the stalk, transfer them into onboard bins, and then move the corn into trucks running alongside them. Every moment is synchronized, and every hour counts. That's why most factories are located right near the fields, because once the corn is picked, it needs to be processed fast to stay fresh. Now, let's head into the factory and see where that journey continues. But before we get into that, please leave a like and subscribe for more amazing videos like this one. Now, moving on. Now, when the trucks arrive at the factory, they don't just sit around. Massive piles of fresh corn are quickly unloaded onto outdoor conveyor belts. To handle the huge volume, over 150,000 tons a year, factories use heavy-duty bulldozers to flatten the corn and push it evenly through the moving belts. This keeps everything flowing smoothly without clogs or delays. As the corn rides along the conveyor, it heads into the first inspection area. Here, trained workers use their eyes, not machines, to check each ear. They're looking for signs of damage, insect infestation, or anything that doesn't meet the factory's high, strict quality standards. Ears that don't make the cut are pulled out immediately. Now that the corn has made it to the factory floor, it's time to start the real transformation. The next step is all about stripping away what's not needed and getting the corn ready for cutting at the husking area. This is where the outer layers are removed. The dry leaves, the stingy silks, and anything else that the factory doesn't need. Conveyor belts move the ears into machines fitted with fast spinning rollers that grab and peel away the husks in seconds. These rollers are specially textured and calibrated to clean the corn without damaging the kernels underneath. To make sure nothing gets left behind, air jets and brushes follow up. They blast off any leftover silks still clinging to the cobs. It's a thorough, fast-moving system that clears tens of thousands of ears every hour. What's great is that the removed husks aren't wasted. They get shredded and collected for use as livestock feed or compost, supporting sustainable farming practices. Next comes the deep cleaning. The husked corn travels into powerful agitation tanks filled with water and food-safe cleaning agents like citric acid, sodium lactate, or baking soda. These substances help remove dirt, fine particles, insects, and anything else hiding in the kernels. Inside the tanks, the corn is stirred with swirling water currents, ensuring that every ear gets properly cleaned from end to end. Even after this, the corn still goes through one more round of sorting. Workers do a final check, making sure only clean, undamaged ears move on. The level of attention at this stage is impressive. Every part of the process is designed to keep the quality consistent batch after batch. With the corn now clean and perfectly husked, it's ready for the next critical step. Kernel removal is one of the fastest, most precise stages in the entire process. As the cobs move along the conveyor, they meet high-speed machines armed with 6 ultra-sharp rotating blades. These cutters are smart. They're automatically adjusted to match the size of each cob, slicing off the kernels cleanly without cutting too deep or leaving anything behind. The freshly cut kernels drop into a collection chamber, while leftover cob pieces are set aside for animal feed or compost. Nothing is wasted. Next, the kernels pass through a rotating drum that filters out any clumps, cob bits, or oversized pieces. Even with all the automation, trained workers still monitor the line closely, pulling out any discolored or damaged kernels to maintain top quality. Finally, the cleaned kernels glide through a soft stream of corn juice and water, which cushions their movement and keeps them in perfect condition for the next step. Now, this is where blanching comes in. It's a quick heat treatment that plays a big role in keeping the corn fresh, colorful, and full of flavor for a long time. The kernels are dropped into a large cylindrical tank filled with hot water, heated to about 158 to 167 degrees Fahrenheit. They stay in there for just 4 to 5 minutes, long enough to deactivate enzymes that could otherwise cause the corn to spoil over time. If those enzymes aren't stopped, the kernels can lose their sweetness, change color, or develop a mushy texture later on. So this step is all about protecting the quality without overcooking anything. Once the blanching is done, the kernels move straight to cooling. This is just as important. If the corn stays hot for too long, it keeps cooking, which softens the kernels more than necessary. To stop that, factories use high-powered fans or cold water sprays depending on the system. Some setups even use vibrating conveyors that spread out the kernels evenly while blowing cold air over them. It's a fast and effective way to bring the temperature down without waterlogging the corn. This balance between quick heating and rapid cooling helps lock in the corn's natural texture and bright yellow color. By the end of this step, the kernels are fully cooked, cooled, and stable, ready for canning without losing their snap or sweetness. Now, canning sweet corn is a fast, precise, and carefully controlled process. It starts with cans themselves, made of stainless steel and lined with tin to help keep the corn from touching raw metal. Even though they arrive sterile, they're steam cleaned one more time before filling. Then rotary machines take over, packing up to 450 cans per minute with perfectly portioned kernels. Each can is filled with a special brine made of purified water, sugar, salt, and food-safe acidity regulators. This mixture helps preserve flavor, color, and freshness. A small air gap, known as headspace, is left to allow for safe expansion during sterilization. Finally, sealing machines apply the lids using heat and pressure to create a double seam. This seal is airtight, locking in the corn and keeping out any contaminants. Once sealed, the cans are ready for their next critical step. Now, this is the most critical part of the entire process, and it's done with high heat, controlled pressure, and strict precision. The sealed cans are placed into large metal crates which are loaded onto rails and slide them into huge sterilization chambers. These chambers are like industrial pressure cookers. Once sealed inside, the temperature is raised to about 250 degrees Celsius, and the cans are held there for about 4 to 6 minutes. This step is designed to kill any microorganisms that still might be present and deactivate enzymes that could still cause spoilage. The intense heat also forces the remaining air out of the cans, helping form a vacuum seal. This is what makes canned corn shelf-stable for up to 5 years without needing any preservatives. Everything inside is locked in, freshness, flavor, and color, all while keeping bacteria and contamination out. Once the sterilization cycle is complete, the cans can't just sit there hot. They're quickly moved out of the chamber and sent through a cooling system. This brings the temperature back down to normal levels and stops the corn from continuing to cook. If this cooling didn't happen right away, the heat would soften the kernels too much and hurt the texture. After cooling, safety checks come into play, and then the canned corn moves to its final stage, labeling, testing, and shipping. In this stage, robotic arms apply detailed labels with everything from ingredients to batch codes, ensuring full traceability. Each can is weighed, scanned for metal fragments, and checked for proper sealing. Only after passing all of these tests are the cans boxed up or shrink-wrapped and stored under strict temperature control. From there, they're loaded onto trucks and delivered to stores nationwide. So now that you know exactly what goes into every can of sweet corn, from the fields to the factory line, here's a question for you. If this much precision goes into something as simple as corn, what do you think is the most complicated food made in a factory? Let us know in the comments. We might just cover it next.